Hello everyone, and welcome. I'm excited to kick off today's session with you. Today, we're diving into Module 6, Foundations of Memory Mastery. This module is all about accelerating your learning and mastering effective study techniques. Over the next few minutes, we'll explore key strategies to help you remember better, learn faster, and unlock your full potential. I'm glad you're here, so let's get started. Let's explore how we can use research-backed techniques to truly transform the way you learn, retain, and recall information. When we talk about durable memory, it's about moving beyond just passively consuming information. Instead, we want to actively engage with the material to strengthen those neural pathways in your brain. This shift from passive to active learning is crucial. It's what we refer to as a cognitive shift, changing the way your brain processes and stores information. By strategically practicing retrieval, testing yourself and recalling information, you're reinforcing those neural connections even further. And when you pair that strategic retrieval with active engagement, such as asking questions, discussing concepts, or applying knowledge, you create a powerful formula for effective learning. In fact, this combination, strategic retrieval plus active engagement, forms the core of our approach to accelerating learning. It's about making your learning process more efficient, more durable, and ultimately more impactful. This slide sets the stage for understanding how these techniques work together to truly transform your learning experience. Let's talk about the shift from behaviorism to cognitivism. You see, active learning isn't just about passively absorbing information. It's about actually retrieving and reconstructing knowledge. This process helps us build a more durable, lasting memory of what we've learned. In contrast, passive learning methods like rereading or highlighting might make us feel familiar with the material, but they often require minimal effort and don't promote deep understanding. This is a crucial part of the learning paradigm shift we're discussing, moving from surface-level strategies to ones that engage our minds more fully. By embracing this new approach, we're better equipped to retain information and apply it effectively. Let's take a closer look at some common methods we use to enhance our learning. On one side, we have flashcards and practice tests, which are active techniques that really engage our brain. On the other side, rereading and highlighting are more passive approaches. Now, it's important to understand how these methods impact our memory strength. When we use strong, long-term memory methods like active recall, we're actually retrieving information, which solidifies it in our memory. This is contrasted with weaker, short-term memory, which often results from passive review, like just rereading notes without actively testing ourselves. Memory strength is closely linked to cognitive effort. Active recall requires more effort but leads to better retention, whereas passive review is easier but less effective for long-term learning. Now, when we compare passive review versus active recall, the key difference is the level of engagement. Passive review involves simply receiving information, like highlighting or rereading, which can give us a false sense of familiarity. Active recall, however, involves actively retrieving information from memory, which strengthens our understanding and makes it easier to remember in the future. So, in the overall picture of effective studying, incorporating active recall techniques is crucial for building durable, long-lasting knowledge, while passive review can be useful but should not be the main strategy. Let's talk about how cognitive psychology research supports the idea of long-term retention. When we actively recall information, it actually makes our memories more robust. In other words, it helps us remember things for the long haul and makes our memories less susceptible to forgetting over time. This is a really powerful concept because it shows that the way we practice our learning matters a lot. By actively retrieving information, like trying to recall what we just learned, we're strengthening the neural connections associated with that knowledge. This process is often called the retrieval effect, and it's at the heart of the science of active recall. So, when you make a habit of testing yourself or trying to retrieve information from memory, you're not just reinforcing what you know, you're actually making your brain more efficient at storing and recalling that information later. This is why active recall is such a crucial technique in effective learning. It ties directly into our overall theme of improving learning strategies through scientifically backed methods. Now, let's talk about some effective strategies for active recall. One powerful method is the Feynman technique. Essentially, it involves explaining a concept in your own words as if you're teaching it to someone else. This helps you identify gaps in your understanding and reinforces your memory. Next, there's the idea of closing your notes and trying to write down everything you remember about a topic. This forces your brain to retrieve information, which makes it stick better. Another useful tactic is using blank pages to test yourself on definitions or formulas without looking at the answers. It might feel challenging at first, but this kind of self-testing is proven to boost long-term retention. Finally, incorporating flashcards into your study routine is highly effective. They promote active recall, and when used regularly, they can significantly improve your ability to remember key concepts and details. Overall, these techniques tie into the broader theme of engaging actively with the material, rather than passively reviewing it. By making your study sessions more interactive, you'll enhance your understanding and retention of the subject matter. Spaced repetition is really the main strategy we use to fight this natural tendency for our memory to fade. It's like giving your brain a gentle reminder at just the right times. Ebbinghaus, who was a pioneering researcher in memory, discovered that without actively reviewing information, our memory loss follows an exponential pattern. In other words, the more time passes without reinforcement, the faster we forget. Now, if we look at the numbers, it's pretty striking. Without reinforcement, we forget about 50% of what we've learned after just 1 hour. And if we go a week without reviewing, that number jumps to about 90%. That's a huge loss in a very short time. This is what we call the forgetting curve, a way to visualize how our memory declines over time. The key takeaway here is that without deliberate efforts to review, our retention drops rapidly. That's why spaced repetition is so effective. It interrupts this curve, helping us retain information much longer by revisiting it at strategic intervals. Let's talk about an antidote to the forgetting curve. What does that mean? Well, it's about reinforcing our memory at the most effective moments. Essentially, you want to review information just before you're likely to forget it. This approach helps solidify the knowledge in your long-term memory. A key concept here is reviewing information at increasing intervals over time. This technique leverages what's known as the spacing effect, which shows that spaced repetition helps improve retention much more than cramming. This is what we call intro to spaced repetition, a powerful method for learning efficiently. It's about strategically timing your reviews to maximize retention, making your study sessions more effective and less stressful. Ultimately, it ties into our overall goal, mastering the art of effective learning and memory retention. Now, let's talk about how learning becomes more effective when we space out our study sessions rather than cramming everything into one single session. This idea is rooted in what we call the spacing effect principle. Essentially, when we distribute our study time over days or weeks, our brains are better able to retain the information. In fact, the retention rate can be as high as 90% when using this approach. This is where spaced repetition systems, or SRS, come into play. They help us organize our reviews so that we revisit material at optimal intervals, boosting our efficiency. By doing so, we're not just cramming and forgetting, we're reinforcing knowledge in a way that sticks. So, in the context of our overall theme, making learning smarter and more sustainable, applying the spacing effect can significantly improve how well we remember and understand new information over time. So, the system essentially adapts to you as you learn. When you answer correctly, the intervals between reviews increase, giving you more time before you need to revisit that information. But if you're struggling, the system shortens those intervals to help reinforce your learning more frequently. This personalized approach is key to making your study sessions more efficient. Now, one manual method used for this is the Leitner system, which involves using boxes with different review intervals, say 1, 2, or 5 days, and moving cards through these boxes based on your performance. On the digital side, apps like Anki and Quizlet leverage algorithms that automatically schedule reviews for you based on how well you perform. This is what we call spaced repetition systems, or SRS, and they're designed to optimize your learning by spacing out review sessions just enough to strengthen your memory without overloading you. Overall, these systems aim to make your studying smarter, not harder, adapting dynamically to your progress and ensuring you retain information more effectively over time. Let's talk about how to implement SRS effectively. First, it's crucial to apply SRS to your most important facts, formulas, and definitions. Focus on the key concepts that will have the biggest impact on your understanding and retention. Remember, it's not just about memorizing. You want to understand why something is true. This deeper comprehension will make your learning much more durable. When creating your review prompts, keep your cards clear, specific, and focused on one concept at a time. This helps prevent confusion and makes your review sessions more efficient. Consistency is also key. Review your material every day, even if it's just for a few minutes. Regular repetition reinforces your knowledge and helps solidify the information in your memory. By applying these principles, focusing on important facts, understanding the why behind concepts, creating quality prompts, and reviewing consistently, you'll make your SRS practice much more effective and aligned with your overall learning goals. Let's talk about the power of mind mapping. It's excellent for brainstorming and tackling complex topics because it allows you to see connections and organize ideas in a clear way. It really engages our visual and spatial memory systems, helping us remember and understand information more effectively. Mind mapping mimics the brain's natural radial structure, which means it mirrors how our brains naturally organize thoughts, starting from a central idea and branching out. This makes it a highly intuitive visual thinking tool. Instead of following a linear list, it organizes information in a nonlinear way, making it easier to see relationships and generate new ideas. Overall, mind mapping is a powerful way to enhance creativity and understanding, aligning perfectly with our goal of improving learning and problem solving. All right, let's dive into how to organize branches in a mind map effectively. Imagine starting with your main idea right at the center of your page. From there, you create branches that extend outward, each representing a key theme or category related to your main topic. As you develop these branches, you can add sub-branches that detail specific points or examples, making your map more comprehensive. To make your mind map visually engaging and easy to remember, use different colors for each branch or main idea. This color coding helps your brain quickly distinguish between different sections. Additionally, incorporating icons can serve as visual triggers, like a light bulb for ideas or a checkmark for completed tasks, which reinforce memory and understanding. Remember, the hierarchy is crucial. Think of it as a family tree, your central idea at the top, main branches stemming from it, and subdetails branching off further. This structure keeps your information organized from broad concepts to specific details, making it easier to review and recall later. Overall, creating a clear hierarchy through organized branches, strategic use of colors, and icons not only makes your mind map visually appealing, but also enhances your ability to learn and connect ideas effectively. Let's take a closer look at how different visual techniques contribute to memory retention. First, we have creative synthesis, which accounts for about 30% of effective learning. This involves combining ideas in new and innovative ways to deepen understanding. Next is spatial association, also at 30%, where associating information with specific locations helps us recall it more easily. Then we have visual organization, making up 40%, which emphasizes structuring information visually to enhance clarity and comprehension. These techniques work together to support memory by making information more engaging and easier to retrieve. Now, how do we leverage these insights? One powerful tool is mind mapping. It uses visual organization and spatial association to help us organize information in a way that sticks. By creating a mind map, you're actively engaging with the material, making it more memorable. So, integrating these techniques into your study routines can significantly boost retention and recall, ultimately making your learning more effective and efficient. Now, let's talk about synthesis and summary. These are crucial steps in your note-taking because they help you consolidate what you've learned. Writing keywords or questions afterward encourages active recall, which strengthens your memory. During the lecture, it's helpful to record core information and main notes, focusing on the most important concepts. The Cornell note-taking method is a great tool for organizing all of this. It guides you to actively engage with the material and connect points to the overall theme of your presentation. Keeping this structure in mind will make your notes more effective and easier to review later. Let's explore some powerful tools for building your personal knowledge system. Apps like Obsidian or Roam Research are great for creating personal wikis. They allow you to link ideas and notes seamlessly, helping you organize and retrieve information more intuitively. Next, we have digital webs, which combine text with simple drawings. This approach taps into our visual and spatial memory, making complex ideas easier to understand and remember. Then there's sketchnoting, a technique that uses quick sketches alongside notes to enhance engagement and comprehension. It's a creative way to process information visually and kinesthetically. Finally, the Zettelkasten method is an interconnected knowledge base built with linked index cards. It encourages organic growth of ideas, fostering deeper understanding and innovative connections. All of these systems, whether apps, visual tools, or note-taking methods, highlight the importance of organizing knowledge in ways that suit how our brains naturally work. They're essential for building a flexible, personal knowledge ecosystem that supports continuous learning. Let's talk about some effective strategies for your comprehensive exams. First, using mind maps can really help you see the big picture. They allow you to organize and connect ideas visually, making complex topics easier to understand and recall. This approach keeps your overall understanding clear and focused. Next, there's the importance of synthesis. Reviewing past papers is a great way to practice retrieval. Testing yourself helps reinforce what you know and highlights areas where your understanding might be weaker. Identifying these gaps is crucial so you can target your studies more effectively. Practice tests are also essential. They give you the chance to space out your studying, what's called spaced repetition, which is proven to improve long-term retention. Plus, doing practice exams helps you avoid cramming, which is usually less effective and more stressful. Finally, starting early is key. The earlier you begin your preparation, the more time you have to build a solid understanding, revise thoroughly, and reduce anxiety. Strategic planning and consistent effort over time will make your exam process much smoother. All these strategies, visual organization, active retrieval, spaced practice, and early start, connect back to the overall goal of being well-prepared and confident when it's time for your exams. Now, let's talk about shifting from reactive to proactive planning. Instead of just reacting to problems as they come up, we want to anticipate potential issues and create concrete action plans for each failure point. Think of it like preparing for obstacles before they even appear. For example, you might identify risks like procrastination or disorganized notes that could trip you up. By recognizing these risks early, you can develop strategies to prevent them from becoming major setbacks. Imagine you've already failed your exam. Take a moment to ask yourself, why did that happen? This is where the pre-mortem technique comes into play. It's a powerful mental exercise. You envision that you've already failed and then work backward to identify what led to that failure. This helps you uncover hidden vulnerabilities and address them beforehand. The key here is to be proactive, to think ahead, and to plan for potential pitfalls before they occur. It's about turning failure prevention into a strategic part of your overall plan, which ultimately increases your chances of success. Today, I want to introduce you to a personalized, sustainable framework that really integrates some of the most effective learning strategies out there. It combines active recall, spaced repetition, and visual organization, tailored specifically to your goals. The idea here is to create a study plan that's not only efficient, but also adaptable to your unique needs. When we talk about building your study plan, think of it as creating a strategic blueprint. This blueprint serves as your guide, helping you stay focused and organized as you work toward your goals. It's about designing a system that's sustainable over the long term, so you don't just cram, but truly internalize the material. In essence, this framework encourages you to actively engage with the content, recall information regularly, revisit it at spaced intervals, and organize your learning visually. By doing so, you're making your study sessions more meaningful and less overwhelming. Ultimately, this approach connects to the overall theme of our presentation, making learning smarter, not harder. It's about creating a structure that supports consistent progress and helps you achieve mastery in a way that's both effective and sustainable. Today, we're doing a quick review of Day 4, focusing on the key points we've covered so far. First, we'll do a 100-word memory summary to reinforce what we've learned. In terms of history, we revisited Day 2 and Day 5 reviews, which helped solidify our understanding of the foundational concepts. We also covered Cornell Q testing, a great tool for active recall. Moving on to biology, we reviewed content from Day 3 and Day 7, emphasizing solving problems from memory to enhance retention. For calculus, we discussed the SRS schedule and the active recall method, which are essential for effective studying. Lastly, I want to highlight the importance of using the subject study plan template to organize your learning efficiently. Now, let's walk through Step 4, checking your accuracy and identifying where your knowledge might have gaps. After you've attempted to recall and reconstruct the material, it's important to review what you got right and where you need to improve. This helps ensure you're solidifying correct understanding and addressing areas that need more work. Remember, this step is about refining your knowledge, not just moving on. It's closely connected to the overall goal of mastering the topic thoroughly. By actively engaging in this process, you turn passive review into a powerful learning experience. So, always take the time to verify your recall and pinpoint gaps. It's a crucial part of effective studying and long-term retention. Let's focus on monitoring your retention levels over the next 7 days. It's important to keep an eye on how well you're retaining the material as you go. This will help you understand what's working and what might need adjusting. Next, I recommend scheduling a quick 10-minute review block in your daily calendar. Consistency is key here, so find a time that works for you each day to reinforce what you've learned. Then, choose a subject that you want to master, and today, create about 10 high-quality flashcards for it. These flashcards should be clear, concise, and focused on the key concepts. This step is crucial because well-made flashcards are the foundation of effective spaced repetition. Finally, as part of your setup, I want you to exercise by creating your own spaced repetition system, or SRS. This process helps you organize your review sessions and ensures you're revisiting material at optimal intervals. Remember, the goal is to build a sustainable routine that keeps knowledge fresh and enhances long-term retention. All right, as we wrap up, I want to emphasize the importance of commitment. Choose one technique that resonates with you and dedicate yourself to practicing it consistently for 21 days. This isn't about trying to do everything at once, but about focusing intently on one area to really make it stick. Remember, true mastery isn't achieved through passive reading or occasional effort. It comes from active, strategic, and persistent practice. So make that commitment today. Push yourself to stay engaged and intentional each day. Over time, you'll see that this focused effort transforms your skills and habits, bringing the growth and mastery you're aiming for.